Let's talk running backs and tight ends. Another true freshman could really break into the rotation, and it would not be a shock to anybody. We'll discuss coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Once again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there tuning in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We talked wide receivers in the first segment. Now we're going to talk running back, tight end. And Jay, we know it's Jaydn Ott, first and foremost at tight end for the Oklahoma Sooners. The question we're going to have then is, beyond Jaydn Ott, is it Jovantae Barnes, or do we have another contender for those RB2 snaps?
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of competition there because Taylor Tatum and Xavier Robinson both spent a significant amount of time not practicing. So they're, they were dealing with like hamstring issues and other little nagging things too. And they set them down purposely. This is more of an NFL model when it comes to the way fall camp works, is their goal is to not continue to injure people more. But you're going to, because of how physical we play, you're going to deal with some of the typical bumps and bruises, which is an okay thing. It's actually a really good thing. But John, from there, all we've been hearing about is that boy Tory Blaylock. The true freshman comes in at over 200 pounds at 5'11", roughly 6 feet tall, 203. That's a big boy as a true freshman to come in. I mean, he added 11 pounds, probably mainly muscle. So if we're hearing Tory Blaylock's name, do I think he jumps everybody else? Andy Bass is starting to run again and start to cut after tearing his ACL right before, what was that, Navy prep? So he basically had torn ACL for the second time, unfortunately, at the end of December. You've got a lot of options. Heck, and Gabe Sawchuk is still here. So it's obvious that, the Sawchuks did not want to leave, but, one of the Sawchuk brothers did stick around. It's definitely Jaydn Ott, especially with him getting up to 220. He's gotten his body at the size and still maintaining his speed. But, John, I don't know who's right behind him. Do you play Jovantae Barnes? Do you start to warm up Xavier Robinson and Taylor Tatum? Like, what direction can you truly go? Do you push to get Xavier Robinson and Taylor Tatum their red shirt back to where they can go ahead and play 3 more years? Like, what would be the smartest game plan there?
I think you have so many really intriguing options here because you're going to play Jaydn Ott a bunch. I think Jovantae Barnes is going to play a bunch, especially in passing situations, because he's a trusted pass pro guy. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He makes plays for you in that realm. Do you want to trust a true freshman in third and long? Maybe not. Or an Xavier Robinson and Taylor Tatum? Maybe not. But given that you like all 3 of those guys, I could see a situation where it's like, hey, you know what? Tory, you get the first 4 games. Xavier, you're going to get the next 4 games. Taylor, you're getting the 4 games after that. And then we'll see what happens. That way you could play them as the third running back, and each of those 4 sets, or depending on how you want to break it down or match it up, and not burn a red shirt on any of them and save their eligibility for the future. Now, running back is one of those positions that if you're good enough to go to the league, a lot of times after 3 years, you're gone. So it's not going to be one of those where you're a lot of times playing as seniors, unless you just haven't had the production just yet, or you're like Jaydn Ott, you're coming off of an injury. So, I mean, that would be a creative way to solve a problem where maybe you've got too many good running backs and not enough, carries to divvy out. And we know DeMarco Murray has been quite creative with the way he's handled the running back room, sometimes to Oklahoma's detriment, maybe. But
I like how you said that.
Fascinating.
I like how you said that he's creative. I guess we'll ride with the words creative in that one, because everybody always is scratching their heads on what that means. But no, you're right. That is kind of, the thing. It's the, there's going to be some creativity there, but with Ott, he's gone after the year. Same thing with Jovantae Barnes. You kind of probably should, quote unquote, run them into the ground. Because I know there was a statistic that was floating around I saw recently that was very intriguing, that, after so many, once you hit a certain number of carries in your career from college as well as NFL, that's when you start to see that decline at the running back position, mainly because it is a position that is just running into a wall over and over and over and over and over and over again. You're just running through somebody's face. That's basically all you're doing as a running back. So, yeah, it makes sense that you may want to preserve some of them, because it's funny because when I think about it, too, I think it was the running back, was it James Cook that got the contract with the Buffalo Bills. He's actually one of those running backs that are under dramatically the number of carries you need, well, the number of carries you would typically get, that would lead to you starting to hit that decline. It was mainly because at Georgia, they rotated a bunch of running backs, so he didn't have to carry the load by himself. I think Derrick Henry's probably the exception to that rule, but at the same time, it's Derrick Henry. Same thing with Adrian Peterson. They're just ridiculous specimens.
Yeah.
I guess you're kind of right. It probably is best to spread the carries out, because, that's the thing scientifically has shown that if you limit some of your college, mileage, you typically last longer in the NFL, and that's usually when you can get at least one, maybe two big checks. And I think that probably should be the goal of these running backs.
Well, and who knows better than DeMarco Murray what
he was done dirty
workload can do to you, I should say. Because, Dallas, when he had the season where he led the league in rushing, he was the offense, and he got rode to a playoff berth and had carries in the playoffs. And the running game was the featured aspect of that offense. Even though they had Tony Romo and Dez Bryant and Jason Witten, he was not the same player after that. He had like one good year with Tennessee after, but he was not nearly the same player. And that's because he just had that huge workload. So I know people get frustrated with DeMarco Murray in the way that he rotates the running backs and divvies up the carries, but I think there's purpose in it. I think it's understanding, like, if these guys actually do make it to the league, he wants them to have some longevity. You mentioned Derrick Henry. He is absolutely the exception to the rule. Adrian Peterson, another one of those guys in the 21st century that can carry the load like they did and still have long, productive careers. But yeah, most everybody's going to a running back rotation because that's what helps these guys maintain their longevity. Let's get to the tight end position real quick. It's one of those situations where I don't know if we're going to have a clear answer on this. If anything, we know Carson Kent is a threat in the passing game, and we know that they love Jaren Kanak. And Brent Venables mentioned on his coach's show that Jaren Kanak is going to have a big year, that he's going to play a lot.
I expect 100% for Jaren Kanak to be on the field doing some very fun stuff there at tight end. Tight end is very intriguing because, of course, one, we don't, really trust what's going on with tight end. I totally understand, because we don't know. You brought in 3 transfer tight ends. And so you're really trying to figure out what John Locke, Will Huggins, or Carson Kent's going to actually give you. Now, they have the size you're hoping for, 252-ish, 247, basically roughly in the 250 range, on average. So they're about the size that you would hope for. I guess 249 would be the average between those three. But from even there, Jaren Kanak is smaller, so you don't want to put him out there at tight end and expect him to block an actual edge. You want him to pick up a blitzing linebacker, which is probably the safest route, or have him a lead blocker as a fullback. But I'm ready to see how creative they're going to get in leveraging Jaren Kanak. He's an athlete. The dude ran a 10.3 100, so he's fast. Like, he's a blazer, and he did a really good job of being fast at linebacker. He's just, unfortunately, he was going very fast to a mistake. But hey, he always played at 100%. And I think that's going to be the interesting thing for me. I want to see if Kaden Helms or Kade McIntyre are actually going to come out and give us something. McIntyre is at a redshirt sophomore. Helms is a redshirt junior. We haven't gotten anything from him, John. Are they going to get luck? Are the football guys going to bless them to have a healthy, at least last part of this camp and be able to give us something? So I really want to see if Kaden Helms can give us that. He had the broken hand. Luckily, he's out there playing with a club. The question is how much pain he's dealing with. But man, if it seems weird, truth be told, I'm ready for Trinae Washington to go out there. That's what I am looking forward to.
Yeah, when you don't really have a clear-cut answer on who is going to be the guy, then play everybody and just see what gives you the best opportunity to have an effective offense with that position. I think the Jaren Kanak piece is the most intriguing because he could be that H-back that Oklahoma has had so much success with over the years, whether it's Jeremiah Hall or Trey Millard, Dimitri Flowers. That's a position that Oklahoma has been very successful deploying. Jaren Kanak, not traditional tight end size, but could do a lot of damage for you as an H-back. How's the Oklahoma Sooners offensive line rotation going to be? What else are they going to do at running back? We discussed a little bit of that already. Got a few fan questions that we'll discuss coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.